Ladies and gents, boys and girls, we are going on a house buying adventure. We're going to look at a plethora of houses and see if there's anyone we want to buy. Now, if you've been along for my first time house buying journey, you already know what's going on. If you haven't, the long and short of it is I'm trying to buy a house about an hour and a half from where I live now in the Orlando area, and I'm mainly trying to buy a house so that I can either find a house with a shop or find a house and build a shop, so I have a place to store my cars and work on them and tinker on them, and a place to live kind of wrapped into one instead of having to rent two separate spaces or, you know, buy a house and then rent a shop. I want to have them both. That's the most important factor here. There's no point in me buying a house if I can't at least build a shop at some point. So if you've been along, you also know that I did make it all the way through the process on buying a house. I found a house. They accepted the offer that I wanted to pay. We got through everything. It was an up and down roller coaster journey. We made it to the end, and the seller decided that they no longer wanted to sell the house. And turns out you don't really have many options when they do that. I mean, besides suing them for years, like, you're pretty much SOL. So anyway, obviously, clearly, that one didn't work out. And we're kind of taking a different approach this time. That time, I'd found one that I really liked. Went and looked at it. I was like, man, this is perfect, and I made the offer and whatever. I did go look at another one before everything got towards the end just to be sure, and it just cemented my thoughts that I really wanted the one, but didn't work out. So this time we're gonna go look at several. We're gonna go look at several houses, all different ranges, from really cheap with like maybe just big enough of a lot to build a shop to like one that's really nice, already has a big lot, already has a shop set up on it, and just kind of see what we want and what I can get for the money and what's worth it to me and what's not. So buying cars is always fun. It's a fun experience for whatever reason, you know, and buying houses is like the next level up from that. So I figured I would bring you guys along for the ride so that you can have some fun with me checking out these houses. So we're on the way there now. The nicest, fanciest one first. Don't know if that's the good way to do it or the wrong way to do it, but that's what we're doing. See you guys there. Okay, so the first house we went and looked at, I did originally film, you know, the inside and the outside, which I did for the other houses as well. But I didn't realize at the time that it was occupied. I don't want to invade anybody's privacy like that. Like, someone is living there. I don't want to go into their house and film and put it on YouTube, you know? So I decided to take this one out. For now, I'll show you the shop. So the shop is a 32 by 50 shop. Obviously, for me, I'm a car guy. The shop thing is probably the most important part of all of this. And finding a place for the shop is huge and very important to me, because that means I can move in, get going right away. So this place, 32 by 50, 34 feet of it is open. The back 16 feet is enclosed. And I wasn't sure how I felt about this, but the more I've thought about it, the more I do like the fact that the back's enclosed, because if I were to get the place and close in the front section, then I could kind of have a roll-up door to the back, insulate that area, AC it as like a fab / putting engines together and things like that area that I could keep nice and cold, and then have the car lifts and the tires and the shelves and stuff in the bigger area. But I would need to close the shop in. So that is kind of the one downfall. If this one was just a 32 by 50 steel building, this house would have been a no-brainer. I wouldn't have even wanted to look at any others. So I'd have been like, this is it. This is the one. Because the house itself is really nice. The house is in like pristine condition, hasn't been renovated, and has just been very well maintained. So that's a big thing for me. I like that. I'd rather buy a car that's been well taken care of its whole life than a car that was beat to crap, potentially, and then just new parts thrown on it. That's my analogy for it. So anyway, really like the house. Really like the lot setup on this one. The lot is beautiful. It's all these tall trees. I'm big on trees. I want trees, you know, around my house, near my house, in the neighborhood. I like that. I don't know why it changes things so much for me, but if it was the same neighborhood in a big field, could not do it. But the neighborhood with all the nice trees and shade and just does it for me, right? So the lot, big checkbox. The house, big checkbox. House is really nice. It's got a 2-car garage. It's got new AC, new water heater, and it definitely looks like it would pass an inspection very easily, which is something I've learned, like with the other house. It can be a big struggle if the house isn't going to pass an inspection for getting insurance and all these other reasons. So all of that was good. Shop size, great. Shop positioning, great. Only downfall is the fact that the front is open. So, you know, if I were to get this place, I would want to close that in and add a front wall and roll-up doors. So I'm not sure how big of a deal that is. If any of you have any input on that, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, so that's it for house one. For now, we're moving on to house number 2. Right outside of the doorway, front yard to the roads. Past that tree line, you can see it. So this is like the main entrance. There's another little entrance there. And then it's got a wannabe driveway. It's like just enough concrete. Good garage. There's the road in. Every house in the neighborhood has a shop. Pretty cool. And then this goes through to the backyard. I'm assuming the well house. I'm not sure. Okay, it goes over to that fence there. Kind of see it. So it's pretty wide. I mean, that's a lot of room. Definitely needs like clearing. It's got a giant AC unit. It's got newer looking windows, or at least tinted windows. Got this porch back here. So it's kind of cleared up back to there. It goes a little further back than that. And then over this way. So ideally we'd put the shop back here. Definitely room for it. Definitely a new deck. The deck's kind of nice. Yeah, it's secluded. Not as nice as the other one. Living room. Dining room. Into the other living room thing with a fireplace. It's got this sink, kind of random. Not really sure why there's a sink there, but it's kind of cool. Nice kitchen, granite countertops. It's got the handles. Laundry room, nice good sized laundry room. Garage is not as deep as I thought. It said 26 by 28, but it's 28 to there, I think, not to there. So it's really wide. It's like 26 or 25 feet wide, but not super deep. Floors, one room, two rooms. One bathroom, master bedroom. It's kind of weird. It's got the sinks out here, then the bathroom in here, and then the shower, giant window overlooking the backyard, and you step down into it. See, like, nice view of the backyard, private. I'm surprised they didn't paint this stuff when they renovated it, but decent sized bedroom, sliding door. So yeah, this one was cool. It definitely had some pluses, some cool features. The lot setup was decent. It wasn't as nice as the first one. The way the first one was laid out, I don't know. It's just a lot more aesthetically pleasing. This one was more so just like in the woods, The lot had some big slope to it, so the shop would for sure have to go in the backyard, and it would require a lot of tree clearing to do so. However, what it lacked there, it made up for in lot size and location. So the lot was over an acre. I think it was like 1.2 or 1.3, which solid size, solid setup, because there was room to build a shop in the back, even though it would require tree clearing. And the cool thing to me was the zoning where it was set up. All the houses were kind of like on an acre, and the zoning, you could tell just by the other houses with shops that it was going to be real easy to build a shop. There wasn't going to be much fuss. You weren't going to have to deal with neighbors complaining that you put this building up. It was definitely the right place to have a house and build a shop for me, right? So that was definitely a huge, huge bonus. And I did like the way it had woods all around, didn't back up to anything, it didn't back up to any neighbors or anything. So definitely a good setup lot and location-wise. Again, not as aesthetically pleasing as the other lot, but bigger than the other lot of the first house. And didn't have a shop, but was cheaper, and definitely room to build a shop. So yeah, that was that one. Moving on to house number 3. So this one I didn't film either. It was occupied as well, but mainly just because it was a quick in and out. So we went and looked at this place. I'd found it. It was super cheap. It was a small little block house. It said it was a 3-bedroom. It had a single car garage, and it looked kind of nice on the outside. It looked like the kitchen had been completely renovated and looked nice, but there weren't really any other inside pictures. And it had this kind of like attached shop thing. Now, it didn't look nice from the pictures, as you can probably see. Like, it didn't necessarily look like a professionally built shop, but it looked like it was enclosed. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool, for how cheap it is. I mean, I could get that. I could make the shop work for now, build a bigger shop, in a few months or whatever. So we went and looked at it, and first thing I looked at was the shop, and actually the whole back of the shop was just like 2x4s and like sheets. So it was basically like a carport. So that was, again, a quick in and out. I mean, we glanced through the house, but I was like, okay, this isn't going to do it for me. And I mean, it was good to see that and go look at that, because I don't know, it put into perspective the other houses and kind of the prices of everything, because, you know, that was a really cheap one and you're thinking, wow, this seems pretty nice for the money, and you realize kind of what you're getting for the money and how much more you're getting for the more expensive than this one houses. So anyway, that was that one. So then we moved on to house number 4, and this one, goals. Look, this one is pretty freaking sick. I think a lot of you car guys are gonna like it. You look at it and you're like, oh wow, that's cool. That's a house, and wow, it comes with a second house. But what's that peeking back behind there? Boom! It is a 50 by 60 shop. 50 by 60 shop. And it is zoned commercial for the shop side of things. So here in the shop, you can see this place is absolutely massive. It's honestly bigger than I expected, because the shop where I'm at now at Ben's house is a 40 by 50. And the extra 10 feet on each side and the extra tall ceilings, I mean, this thing is freaking huge. Like, it's literally like a warehouse. I mean, it's got these massive roll-up doors. It's got 4 of them. It's got a pull-through door here on this end. So, I mean, the shop is literally long enough to where I could back my truck and trailer as a complete unit into here. I mean, talk about goals, right? This place is, I mean, you see there's a boat and an RV in here, and they look freaking tiny. Like, they don't even look big because of how huge the space is. So, I mean, shop-wise, obviously incredible. The shop is absolutely massive. So heading out of the shop, we've got this little office space here, which was kind of cool. You know, I mean, it's kind of like what you would expect from renting a big warehouse. And the rent on this warehouse alone would be so expensive if you were just renting just the warehouse space somewhere. So you pop out, you've got this little kind of alcove between the 2 houses, which I thought was really cool. Kind of awkward, that door. It's like too close to the other house. But this house here is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Kitchen, living room, whatever. It's been renovated, nice inside, big shower. And then this one is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. So it's got, you know, a nice renovated kitchen. It's got nice floors. It's got recessed lighting, and it was definitely renovated really well. It was done nice. It was weird that, you know, so many houses here in Florida have like solid foundations, and this was a house, you know, I think they're about 100 years old. So it was a house with a crawl space, and it felt really weird walking around and kind of feeling stuff shifting under you. You know, I lived in a house like that when I was younger, but it's been a very long time, and it's a little bit unsettling of a feeling. But I mean, it seems like they did a nice job on it. It's obviously hard to tell. It looks good. They definitely made it look good. But yeah, I mean, honestly, a little more spacious than I anticipated. It is a nice, roomy house, nice house. And then you pop out the front door here, and you've got this cool old school porch. You look straight ahead, and it's houses in a neighborhood, right? Oh, cool. Okay, this is a neighborhood. You got your freaking shop space. But then you look over here, and you've got a freaking industrial park. You're literally at the edge of an industrial park. And again, the building is zoned commercial. So, I mean, you could literally do any shop stuff you wanted to do and live in your house right there. And there's a tree. I mean, that's pretty cool too, right? So this one, obviously, car guy's dream, right? I mean, primo. Everything you want. A massive freaking shop. Commercial, so you can't get, you know, the neighbors yelling at you for making noise. It's zone commercial. You can do whatever you want. You've got, you know, a solid, nice little house. You've got another house if you want a guest house, or you want to rent it out to pay the rent or pay, you know, some of the mortgage. So you've got a lot of options there. The houses are very nice as far as like aesthetically. You've got enough room to park some stuff and whatever. The industrial park thing though kind of can go either way, right? I mean, long term, would I want to live there? You know, living literally in an industrial park. I mean, it is houses the other way, but I mean, you're right next to an auto shop, right next to a big warehouse with semi trucks. I could definitely see that getting annoying. As much as it would be cool, like for whatever reason, that just seems so cool. Like, it seems like something you'd see in a movie, a house in an industrial park. And that little alcove area between the 2 houses, I just imagine having a picnic table there and some lights, like straight up Fast and the Furious vibes, right? So super cool in that aspect. The price was really, really high. It was significantly more than any of the other options I was looking at. It's a lot more shop space, but the houses are really old. You know, they're, I think, right at 100 years old. And you know, from my experience when I was younger, living in an older house, they are a project in and of themselves. Now, they have been renovated. I don't know what the extent is. I don't know if they redid all the plumbing and electrical too, or they just made them look good. You know, who knows? All right, so house number 5, this one was not only occupied, but the people are there when we went and looked at it, so obviously no filming. Filming was a no-go on this one, but this one seemed pretty cool, and it was in this cool area. Basically, you can ride your golf cart to downtown, to go eat, to restaurants, to stores. And I know it's silly, like I have a car. I don't need to have, like, be able to ride a golf cart to the store, but it just seems so cool. Like hopping on your golf cart, cruising to dinner, you know? I don't know why. I'm just like in love with the idea of that. And I really like this little area. And this house was on a half acre. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool to live in that area, but have a half acre. You kind of get a good mix of both worlds. And it looked like it had this really large garage. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I could use that, build my shop in the backyard, etc. Looking at it, one, backyard not quite as big as it seemed. I mean, it would be tough to build a shop there, and I would think the zoning laws would make it difficult to build a shop there. Two, the garage was not as big as it looked. It's like the house kind of extends into the shop area, more so, or the garage area, more so than the garage, like, is big. You know, it's really not much bigger than a normal 2-car. It was laid out kind of awkward. Kind of living room over here, and then a bunch of small, kind of awkwardly sized bedrooms. But yeah, you know, it was definitely a cool house, but it didn't really tick all the boxes for me. So, house number 5 out of the way. We've had a plethora to look at. It was a good mix. It was a good spectrum of, you know, cheap to expensive and very, very varying setup. Shop in an industrial park and all sorts of things, a huge range. So I definitely feel like I got a kind of a good gist of what gets you what, you know, and I did decide to make an offer on one. I'm a little bit superstitious and I don't want to jinx myself, so I don't want to tell you guys what it is and what's going on with it and whatever until things are hopefully settled. I can't even say settled because I'm like, if I say when they're settled, then it'll freaking fall apart. And especially after the last one, you know, made it through all the hard stuff, and then it fell apart by the seller bailing. So we're going to hold off on that. If it does go through, I'll make a video on it, explain it, and whatnot. But for now, that concludes our house shopping because we have made an offer on one, and we are going to be in process on that one that we made an offer on. So yeah, just keep your fingers crossed for me. Hopefully this all pans out. If you're interested in supporting the channel and supporting this move, trying to buy a house and get kind of our own HQ setup so we can do even more than we're already doing. Link below for merch. We've got a pre-order live. I finally got merch started back up. I'm super excited about the designs. I absolutely love all of them, and I think a lot of you will like them too. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below. But for now, that's going to be it for our house hunting adventure. See you guys for the next one, or hopefully not the next one, next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.